A wise person knows what to say, but a genius knows when to say nothing. Have you ever heard of the 3 sieves of communication? It's a powerful lesson, best told through the story of a talkative goat and a silent horse. On a quiet, sun-drenched farm, there lived a goat who thought he knew everything. He was the farm's self-proclaimed news anchor. Every morning, you'd find him perched on a hay bale, bleating out the latest gossip to anyone who would listen. He'd say, "Did you hear that chickens are laying fewer eggs? The farmer is not happy." Or the farmer's wife bought a new hat. "I heard it was terribly expensive." The goat believed that being the source of all information made him important, the center of the farm's universe. He reveled in the temporary attention his breaking news brought him, feeling a rush of power with every secret he shared. He never stopped to think about the words he was spreading. He just loved the sound of his own voice and the feeling of being in the know. The other animals would gather, some amused, some annoyed, but the goat didn't care. He was the king of conversation, or so he thought. In the same pasture, there lived an old, wise horse. He was the complete opposite of the goat. While the goat was a whirlwind of words, the horse was a sea of tranquility. He spent his days pulling the plow, his powerful muscles working in a steady rhythm. He rarely spoke. Instead, he observed. His large, kind eyes missed nothing. He saw the subtle shift in the farmer's mood, the way the wind rustled the corn stalks, and the worry lines that appeared on the farmer's wife's face. He listened not to reply, but to understand. The other animals often mistook his silence for aloofness, or even a lack of intelligence. The goat would sometimes taunt him. "Hey, old horse, cat got your tongue? Or are you just too slow to keep up with the news?" The horse would simply flick his tail and continue his work, his silence a stark contrast to the goat's constant chatter. He understood a truth the goat had yet to learn. Not everything that is known needs to be said. His silence wasn't empty. It was full of thoughts, observations, and a deep, unspoken wisdom. One sweltering afternoon, the goat overheard the farmer talking to his son in hushed, urgent tones. The farmer was in serious financial trouble. He had taken out a large loan, and if he couldn't make a significant payment by the end of the week, the bank would take the farm. The only way to get the money was to sell his most valuable asset. The goat's ears perked up, his heart thumping with the thrill of this monumental secret. He didn't wait to hear the rest. He scurried away, his mind racing. This was the biggest news he had ever had. He couldn't wait to tell everyone. He felt a surge of importance, believing this information would solidify his status as the most informed animal on the farm. He found a group of sheep grazing near the fence, and, without a second thought, blurted out, "Big news! Huge news! The farmer is going broke. He's going to have to sell one of us to save the farm." The words tumbled out, and a wave of panic washed over the flock of sheep. The secret was out. Let's pause here for a moment. There's an old saying, before you speak, you are the master of your words. Once a word is spoken, you are its slave. The goat, in his haste to feel important, had just become a slave to his own words. He had unleashed a force he couldn't control, a wave of fear and uncertainty that would soon crash over the entire farm. He didn't consider the impact, only the immediate gratification of being the center of attention. He had thrown a stone into a calm pond, and now he was about to witness the ripples. The fallout was immediate and disastrous. The goat's news spread like wildfire. The chickens stopped laying altogether, clucking nervously in their coop. The cows were too agitated to give milk. The sheep huddled together, bleating in fear, wondering which one of them would be sold. The entire farm, once a place of peaceful productivity, was now paralyzed by anxiety and mistrust. The farmer, already stressed, couldn't understand why his animals were suddenly so distressed. Their productivity plummeted, making his financial situation even more precarious. The goat, seeing the chaos he had caused, felt a pang of regret. He had wanted attention, but not like this. He saw the fear in the other animals' eyes and realized his words had been weapons, not gifts. He had poisoned the well of trust and harmony that kept the farm running. The very importance he craved had turned into a heavy burden of guilt. He had broken the spirit of the farm. Amidst the chaos, the old horse remained calm. He continued his work, his steady presence a silent anchor in the storm of panic. The farmer, seeking a moment of peace, went to the stable to brush the horse. As he ran the brush through the horse's coarse mane, he started talking, not to anyone in particular, but just to voice his worries. He said, "I don't know what to do, old friend. The bank is breathing down my neck. I need to sell something, but I can't bear to part with any of the animals. They're like family. I think I'll have to sell that old, broken down tractor in the barn. It might just fetch enough." The horse stood perfectly still, listening. He had known about the farmer's trouble all along. But he had also waited. He had observed. He knew the farmer loved his animals, and his silence had allowed the farmer to find his own solution without causing unnecessary panic. The farmer felt a sense of relief just by being near the calm, silent creature. The horse's wisdom wasn't in speaking, but in knowing when not to. His silence wasn't ignorance. It was a profound form of support and strength. It was the ultimate act of trust and loyalty. This story perfectly illustrates the ancient wisdom of the three sieves. Before you speak, let your words pass through three filters. The first sieve is it true? The goat overheard a fragment of a conversation and assumed the worst. He didn't have the full story. He spread a half-truth, which is often more dangerous than an outright lie. Always ask yourself if you're absolutely certain that what you're about to say is factually accurate. The second sieve is it kind? The goat's words were not kind. They were born from a desire for self-importance, and they cause widespread fear and distress. Even if something is true, we must consider its effect on others. Will your words heal or will they hurt? Will they build someone up or tear them down? Kindness in communication is not a weakness. It is a sign of emotional intelligence and strength. And finally, the third, and perhaps most important sieve, is it necessary? Was it necessary for the goat to spread that information? Absolutely not. It served no positive purpose. It only created chaos and made a difficult situation worse. Before you speak, ask yourself, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? And does it need to be said by me right now? The wise horse understood this implicitly. He knew the truth. He was inherently kind, but he also recognized that his silence was what was truly necessary in that moment. The story of the goat and the horse is a timeless reminder. Our words have power. They can build worlds or they can destroy them. By practicing the three sieves, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? We can learn to wield that power with wisdom, compassion, and grace. We can choose to be the frantic goat, desperate for attention, or the wise horse, a silent source of strength and stability. True communication isn't about saying the most. It's about making sure that what you do, say, matters. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that helps you live a more mindful life. See you in the next video.